That's the real battle I'm following. I don't want to bring it up now because y'all on a music talk, but I've been going down this rabbit hole of Roddy, trying to figure out. Well, not trying to figure out, but it's intriguing to me his run and his climb. And Billboard put out an article that was talking about YouTube success, right?
Okay.
Did anybody catch that article?
I didn't see it.
I read it, yeah. When him and Lior were face to face in the picture.
I saw pictures from that, but I didn't see I didn't read the article.
Yeah, I read the article.
Yeah, so then that just got me to thinking about, you know how I feel about some of the execs, Lear Cohen being one of them. They could be fuckity fuckheads, but they've done a lot in music. I do believe that Iveen going to Apple did something over there.
Oh, I mean, without question.
Yeah, they did a lot.
what? Can't even say he didn't.
But what I'm saying is this stuff that we're talking about is not shit that fans ever think about or fans are privy to. They don't really give a fuck. They want to hear the music.
Right.
But I pay attention to Iveen going to Apple, what he did over there. Lior going to YouTube now, what he's doing over there, and how that is tied to the success of some of these artists, Roddy being one of them. And then furthering that, I furthered the thought with Billboard's acceptance of YouTube or the label's acceptance of YouTube now as a major player.
Right.
And the power that gives Lior to do whatever it is he's doing behind the scenes.
Well, they're adding it to Billboard. Didn't we?
I think
maybe like
a
month ago we reported on that
Yeah.
of that being added to the actual Billboard stats YouTube views.
Yes.
So YouTube has like a music streaming.
They have
They
YouTube
do.
Music.
They do. Yeah.
It's a legitimate thing.
Yeah. And that led me to how this fight is going to look between the labels, the streamers, and YouTube. Because the article was saying how, and I'm not going to read this because the important part here was that YouTube, because of whatever law it is, I'm not going to find the name of it, but there's a law that excludes YouTube from all those copyright laws that plague Spotify.
Scream Man's actually highlighting. Go down two more lines. Scream Man, you're
No,
at the right
that's
place.
the one, though.
Yeah, you're
the
at the right
origin of the hostility lies in the safe harbor embedded in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in the United States that protects YouTube from legal liability for infringing content that users upload as long as it responds promptly to a takedown notice. That means rights holders have essentially faced a choice between licensing their content or having it appear on the service anyhow and depending on YouTube's Content ID program to flag what's unauthorized and sending takedown notices about the rest. As a result, YouTube has always had more leverage in negotiations than services like Spotify and Apple Music, to the point that some rights holders felt the company made them offers they couldn't refuse. Now that line, I would love to hear what some of those offers just sounded like.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like YouTube had the labels against the same ropes that the labels had Spotify under.
Yeah.
And that's just the rabbit hole I went down when I was on Roddy Ricch. And that's all. I would love to see how it plays out. I know fans and consumers don't give a fuck about shit like this, but it's major shit happening. I don't know if the last podcast I said anything about the $75 million that Sirius is investing into SoundCloud. But it's just major shit. Warner Music went public.
Yeah.
See? Can we
No,
pull,
I'd
pull
like
that
to.
up?
I would love to figure out how that works.
How what works? Going
To
public?
go public with a music company.
What do you mean? Same way anything else is public.
Yeah, but to what degree do
They invest
investors,
money and they get a share of the dividends.
I guess I'm just looking at it differently because it's music.
They're not owning.
Of course, they're not.
The
They don't have
copyrights.
points on anything on
No.
there. But
You just invest money and you get money back.
it's still a little odd. Does
It's not
that
odd.
all right? So
It's
does
different.
that? So does that change?
I don't know if they're the only publicly traded.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
I would bet that they're not. I bet Universal is publicly traded. I could be wrong
I
about
would
the
be a
rest
little.
of this.
I would be a little curious if
Universal Music Group says they'll go public by 2023.
Okay.
That's what the article said. I don't know if it's accurate. We didn't click on it.
Yeah.
So obviously advances in budget and recording budgets typically go off what we think you'll move. But to some degree, if I'm an artist looking at my budget and you have all this other revenue being invested, I may have some questions. That's all. I don't really have a huge theory here, more just questions on how that works within a music company and an artist sitting there going, all right, great. So I can't get another 100 grand on my marketing because why?
Yeah, ask the stockholders.
Because we locked you in.
Yeah.
And we weren't locked in. And now our stock is booming because mad people are investing in all of the shit that we have because we've gone public.
So on top of that, now I'm an artist. Say I'm...
No, let's
use Ed Sheeran because we all know that's my
Red
guy. If I'm
Sharon.
If I'm at Warner and the IPO is going crazy and I'm probably one of the bigger invested artists in this company, I'm going to feel a way about all this investment money coming in. Or at least want to know about it.
And now what will you do with your feelings, artist with no power?
That's my point there.
Well, I'd be more curious, too, if someone will buy a majority of those stocks themselves and have a majority stake in Warner Brothers.
So here's the thing. I'm sure artists are not allowed to do that. When I was at Sony and Spotify went public, they sent out a company-wide email that said, you cannot buy any stock in Spotify. That's considered insider trading.
I guess that makes sense if you're an artist. Yeah. But an artist from a different label may be able to.
Yeah.
Or just someone...
Sure.
That just doesn't sound like a good idea all around the board. Like, it sounds like that shit can get crazy really quick.
And I think 8 or 9 months ago, when there were just reports about Warner thinking about going public. I thought I remember hearing whispers about maybe them deciding to actually put some of the money to the side to divvy up to the artists. I don't know if that was Warner Universal.
No, I think that was about... their ownership stake in Spotify, or maybe one
That's
of
what
the
that
other.
was. You're right.
And they
You're
were
right.
figuring out how to divvy that, or because Spotify bought their shit back from that, something like that.
So the labels had bought percentages of Spotify at the time. They bought it back so they could go public, but that's why it was also insider trading as a Sony employee for me buying Spotify stock at that time.
Got it.
But I can't see them divvying up any money and giving it to the artist because now they're responsible for that investor money.
Yeah.
So I can't see that happening.
Wait, I was just reading something that said the inspiration behind this move is not hard to deduce. Can you find that again? But yeah, we were talking about music. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
But while people are focused on the music and the artists and the new releases, like, this is the type of shit I'd be worried about. The inspiration for this move is not hard to deduce. Yeah. Universal Music Group, the world's largest music company, recently was valued at $33 billion as part of its agreement to sell 10% of itself to a consortium led by Chinese tech giant Tencent. Oh, that was the end. Part of an agreement to sell 10% of itself to a consortium led by Chinese giant tech Tencent. In August of 2017, Goldman Sachs valued UMG at $23.5 billion, roughly 3 times what it was worth in 2013, with values of music companies skyrocketing at that rate over the past 6 odd years. Blavanovich has apparently decided the time is ripe to go public. Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, and Goldman Sachs and Co. LLC are acting as joint book running managers for the offering. I apologize for this hard reading. The lights in my eyes. It's not good right now.
Well, with that said, I don't know if you saw the article about UMG in 2019 did $7.7 billion. I want to find the exact percentage of what that was up from 2018. Yeah, IPO plan. 11.6% up from the year before. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're making a lot of money off of streaming shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing me and Hop was talking about the other day. He was saying how with the streaming shit, he was saying like he walk in some stores now and like vinyls from Reasonable Doubt, like in the stores they'll sell the vinyls for $100.
Yeah.
And like he was like, but Jay don't see none of that. Like, cause once you buy that vinyl, whatever you paid for when it first came out, that's it. And he was saying how now he's receiving publishing checks from Big Pimp, and he was like, I know niggas ain't going and physically buying Big Pimp and it's streaming.
Right.
So he was like, that's where the streaming is a good thing because now records that was like years old, people are streaming it.
But Big Pimpin' is such a streaming record.
No doubt.
Like if streaming was out when Big Pimpin' was out.
Yeah.
But that is a valid point, is that like in the past, Big Pimp is probably not the best example because you could probably always find that in a CD store, but there are probably a lot of records that get a lot of streams now that for a long time you couldn't find.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you had to find the physical fucking CD, and Coconuts was not going to have it.
Right.
And
know
to
what
some
I'm saying?
degree, you're kind of rebuying it, like, because I bought Volume 3.
Oh, yeah.
But now I subscribe to streaming, so I'm kind of rebuying Volume 3 when I listen to it. Because I bought it already.
I own Reasonable Doubt on cassette, vinyl, CD, and I stream it still. Like, and a digital download.
I mean, streaming
Well,
is
my mom bought
definitely
Volume 3.
changes the game in music, but there could be a negative to it as well. I don't think art, because we still don't know what a stream is worth.
True.
So it's like
It's a lot of positive and a lot of negative, but most of the positive as of now, till we work through it, is with the labels.
I think it's
the
a lot of
labels
positive.
The labels are crushing right now.
I think it's a
with
lot
it.
of positive and a lot of questions. I don't think it's negative.
Well,
it's just where is this all going?
It makes you even more inclined to own your publishing at this point now because back catalog is more important than it's ever been.
People are
Because
insane for selling their publishing.
It's constantly being rebought to some degree with your back catalog. Like it wasn't as valuable before because people owned your CD already.
Right.
So
Did
owning your
Drake
publishing
buy or
and
sell his
back
publishing?
catalog is really important.
Sold.
what did he sell his publishing for?
It was cool. I forgot what it was. It wasn't that high of a number though.
I read something.
Dreams Publishing is worth.
It's worth a lot, but I forgot. It was a thing we talked about in this podcast.
Yeah, I'm just
it
trying
was
to- I'm
not. The
trying to
number
revisit
wasn't crazy.
Between
though.
his music
Yeah.
and his
We might
writing
need to
publishing.
revisit that though.
It wasn't crazy.
It
We
wasn't
might need to
crazy.
revisit
No,
that.
wasn't crazy at
No,
all.
that's why we talked about this briefly on one of the last podcasts. That company that auctions off people's pub, the people that are doing that are out of their mind because like
23 million.
there's so
75% for 23 million.
Okay, there's so many more ways to
would
make money,
never.
and there's so many more ways
Something's
that
wrong there.
there's so many ways that people are monetizing music now. All the content, like that shit, YouTube videos, they have to pay that. Not everybody does, but you have to. ESPN uses all types of music now. Like,
YouTube videos are smoke and mirrors, like the music is put on the streaming services. And that's where this gets interesting. And I'm not going to say too much because I don't know what I can say. But if we had to guess what goes on in the next 5 years in the music business, I read something that said it's that time again between Spotify and the labels for the contract to be amended or some shit, or if the labels decide they want to pull out and walk away. But the labels would never. We always were under the impression that the labels would never do that because this robbery without a gun. we getting too much money from y'all. There's no reason to pull our shit from y'all. Y'all think of a solution, which is where podcasting becomes important in this conversation.
Yeah.
And which is why YouTube and whatever they're doing with Lior and all of his industry friends that run all of the labels, what they are doing. Because if YouTube builds itself up to industry standard and what they're trying to do in music,
that's gonna be a tough one to fight.
and now I'll move on. You do with that what you will.
Yeah. And to selling your publishing, I know generational wealth has been like the buzzwords as of late. You're selling your generational wealth. Like
Yes.
you're giving away, and we're seeing how you can retain constant income with streaming. Why are you selling your publishing?
Yeah.
You're selling away what your kids and grandkids could have and get constant go to the mailbox money.
It even bugs me out more too when it's people from the sampling era that know what they paid in samples
Yeah.
selling their songs. Like
You're
you
well
know
aware.
that you know that sampling exists, and you know that you have to pay for sampling.
You're well aware that your publishing was diluted because of it.
You know that people are still sampling. Like
That yeah. Just-
and I talk about In My Feelings when this conversation comes up. You guy wasn't even on the song, and he is getting a check from In My Feelings, which
Yeah.
is a number one song. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever sell your publishing.
in the dream of all people,
Yeah,
his catalog is going to be sampled for the next 50 years.
yeah,
Easily.
yeah.
Whatever, man.